organisational behaviour focusing on power and control. The team consists of David, Ben, Irina and Jeanette. Managers require power to make things happen or to bring about change. Power can be defined as a manager's ability to influence others. According to the basis of social power, which is the French and Raven research carried out in 1959, there are 5 sources of power which can influence personal or positional control. These being coercive, reward, legitimate, expert, and reverent. Each form of power can affect a manager's leadership style, how they control, and their success. This report will consider the consequences, impacts, and effects of power in the workplace and suggest strategies for managing power.
Following the 1959 French and Raven research article, The Basis of Social Power, major power themes exhibited in this video clip include coercive, reward, and legitimate power. Coercive power stems from the expectation that one will be punished if they fail to submit to the influence of another. This includes threats of being fired or demoted, or suffering rejection. Reward power, on the other hand, is defined as power whose basis is the ability to reward. Examples of rewards include social acceptance or monetary gains. Put simply, coercive versus reward is similar to the stick versus carrot. Finally, legitimate power is defined as the power to influence based on a legitimate right to do so due to a personal or positional standard. This may be open to abuse or corruption. How is power being used in this video? We see coercion being implemented by boss David Harkin, who threatens the employment of another if employee Nick Hendricks does not admit that he is a liar. Further, we see a reward coercion power implemented. Harkin offers, via a shared drink, the opportunity for camaraderie or personal approval. This changes to coercion when the reward quickly dissolves and Hendricks is forced to offend Harkin or submit and drink alone. Reward power is observed throughout this video, as Harkin offers the opportunity for promotion to Hendricks, who is in turn motivated to increase his commitment to the organisation, his workload, and to sacrifice his weekends. Finally, legitimate power is observed. Harkin holds a legitimate power over Hendricks based on his superior role within the company. This power is abused through the public bullying of Hendricks in front of other colleagues. This, in turn, undermines Hendricks' own legitimacy within the organisation.
The consequences, impacts and effects of power in this video clip are that the employee feels undervalued and harshly treated. This boss is using techniques of coercion by forcing the employee to drink alcohol and lie about being 2 minutes late. The employee is then forced into a silent and submissive stance before his boss, and in this instance it has caused feelings of uncertainty and insecurity in the employee, as trust is being questioned. Further impacts revolve around the manner in which this boss is conversing with his employee and the employee's reactions to this. The boss is essentially threatening his promotion, and the more this employee modifies his behaviour to suit his boss, the more demeaning the boss becomes towards him. As the clip progresses, it becomes evident that the employee is beginning to show feelings of exasperation towards the attitude of his boss, and is even beginning to show signs of anger, as he clearly has no control over the situation. So the major consequences, impacts and effects of power in this video clip are that the employee feels undervalued and harshly treated. Wilson states, coercive power can often be delivered in the form of perceived rewards and threats, and this employee is forced into a submissive stance as his boss threatens his promotion by undermining him. And another impact lies in the way this boss is exerting his power over the employee simply because he can. Often people in organisations can misuse their positional power for the purposes of bullying, and the actions of this boss comes across as a clear example of bullying in the workplace. Hence, the employee begins to show feelings of exasperation towards his boss and is even beginning to show signs of anger. And a final impact of power is shown when the employee is talking to a colleague about the interaction, which can be seen as gossip or misbehaviour. Wilson states, the more outrageous the information being conveyed, the more it can become popular gossip. And in this instance, the employee was so shocked by his boss's treatment of him that he found it necessary to vent his concerns.
In the workplace can definitely come from different forms. Powerlessness and organisational chaos can give rise to an abuse of power. Where poor leadership and mismanagement are, this can create an environment for misusing of power. Job insecurity also can create high pressures where there will be a presence of abuse of power and bullying. Of powers can result from a number of factors. A manager who has low morale principles and doesn't see value in a team, missing organisational coherence and a weak organisational structure. Also, poor internal control can see this type of power abuse. Behaviour does have a place in managing certain situations. Threats of termination, for example, may be valid to reinforce policies to manage bullying or to address workplace safety issues. This type of power does elicit compliance. While this may prove to be useful, there are many downfalls for an employee and an organisation. The negative results of extreme coercive behaviour can be detrimental to an organisation and a person's well-being, and managers have a duty of care to provide a safe work environment. Members of an organisation identified as using coercive power need to be performance managed. Performance management can be effective in changing particular patterns or behaviours. Mentoring or role-playing to demonstrate preferred models of management, and also creating a good workplace culture that is built around respect can help to provide a harmonious environment, allowing staff to be treated respectfully.
Views. Here we reflect on the question. As managers, do you have a choice in relation to your own perspective that you would like to address when managing individual behaviours? David comments on his choice between being direct, by communicating work methods, or working more collaboratively to engage with his team to balance individual and organisational outcomes. I reflect on the choice of utilising coercive powers to achieve outcomes quickly, in contrast with using reward power to benefit the team in the long term. Irene reviews her perspective within the team and makes a choice to adjust her style to suit her co-workers. Jeanette chooses to focus on not only the areas for staff improvement, though also on calling out positive behaviours within her staff. In conclusion, all power sources have their use. However, it is not as simple as utilising a power based on what you as a manager are most comfortable with. As we have seen, the misapplication can be disastrous for employees' well-being and providing a safe and healthy workplace. As managers, a careful and considered application of power will ensure employees are performing at their best. They are happy, connected, and business results are achieved.